I've always just called the other agent and literally just said, hey, what is it? Here's my client. Here's their situation. What is it going to take? If I write offer X, here's the details. If I write that, are you accepting it today or are you tossing it in the trash can? Which of those two things is what's going to happen? Episode 60 of the Tactical Agents podcast is upon you. It is myself, Mike Edwards, Chris Fisher, and Danny Cuevas in the house with you on this episode. And we are going to give you hot takes on what it takes to come out on top in negotiations. What the best negotiation tip that each of us have. Oh, and look who showed up. We've got Trey Serrano also in the house. We had doubts he was going to be here, but here he is. He is with us. Ladies and gentlemen, we have a full foursome with a cart right here.
Full house today.
Trey is what you would call punctually challenged.
I am, yeah. I'm challenged in a lot of ways, Chris. Some of them you can't see on video, on this video.
All right, so we're going to give you each in turn our hot take on negotiations, the one tip we would offer that has served each of us in our own respective business the best. You'll probably see some similarities, some overlap. That's okay. We each have our own perspective, and we're going to give that. And if you have not been keeping up with any of us on Instagram, Chris, everybody's IG handle is up on the screen. If you're listening on audio, I'm not even going to say them. You're just going to have to go to YouTube and look at it going across the screen. I'll put them. If you're on Spotify or Apple, I will put them in the show notes. You can follow there. Danny's got a cool little series happening because he's moving from California to Texas and he's like following the journey. Chris hasn't posted in 2 years. Trey does all kinds of things. And you'll see me talking about 10-7 project and other real estate related things these days on my Instagram. So, all right, we're going to shut up and get right after it. So let me pick on, we'll do Trey first. The question of the day is what one negotiation tip or skill has served you best in your business?
Is this negotiations with clients or negotiations with agents or just in general?
Dealer's choice. You can, if you feel drawn to answer one way or the other. I'm thinking about agent to agent, in the deal. But if you have something to add for agent client, I mean, that's good too.
Okay. So two things come to mind. The first thing I've learned in negotiations is sometimes you have to answer a question with a question. So when I first started, it was when somebody would ask me, like, what do you think we should offer? Then I would say, I think we should offer blah, 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 and we should offer this and that and this and that. But instead of answering their frame, you can answer your own frame. So if they ask, like, what do you think I should offer? And then I would start asking, well, how much do you love the house? And then usually when that is changing the frame, now they're going into if they really love the home, if they don't really love the home, they're going to tell me, well, I don't mind paying a little more for the home. And then that kind of changes the way I am able to give the tactic based on the reframing of the question. And then the second thing is to relate to whatever they're asking, or if I'm asking for something, I would relate. So I guess this is more like if they're asking me for, like, what do you think we should do with the home? Or I'm sorry, I think the what I'm thinking of is if it's bad news that I'm negotiating, then I would relate to them before I give the advice. So the relatability first, and then what I think they should do later.
So connect where they're at on an emotional level, then take them where they need to go.
Yes. And if I feel like I'm not connecting with them or if they're still frustrated, I continue to ask questions to get more out of them. And then eventually they get exhausted of what to say. And then that's where the relatability of the negotiation can happen faster and better.
Gotcha. All right, let's jump corners. Chris, what do you think?
All right. My biggest tip on negotiation is to shut the fuck up and listen to what people are saying. Like anybody who's ever been in law enforcement knows that the best thing you can do when you're talking to a suspect is make them trip on themselves. Stop talking. Let them talk. Let them hit that word vomit that tells you things you need to know. So often we get in the habit where we just want to show how smart we are and show how savvy we are and show how we can talk circles around everybody. But if you just shut the fuck up and listen to them and let them make mistakes and tell you things they shouldn't tell you and ask leading questions and then just let them talk until they're not talking anymore. And if you say something that they don't like, don't defend it. Just say it and just sit there and let them be quiet. If there's an awkward pause, you don't feel it. Just sit there. And they will word vomit and they will tell you all kinds of things that can help you in your negotiation, that can kind of help you understand their mindset a little better, and ultimately give you a leg up in the negotiation process.
Do you feel like is there a particular strategy of a statement or a question that you lead with to sort of create the space or elicit the response of someone to give you more, talk more?
It depends on the circumstances, but one of the things I really like, and I know you feel the same way about this question, is okay, tell me more about that, and just let people word vomit, right? And you can ask that question over and over and over again, because every time they get to a point, you can just say, oh, that's really interesting. I didn't see it that way. Explain that to me a little better. And you just keep them talking. And then, they start telling you that their seller's going through a divorce and they really have to sell the place and they really want top dollar, but they're up against a hard deadline. They have to get out from under the house by X day, or they're going to be in, contempt of court or whatever. And you're like, oh, okay. Well, that's a strong little feather to have in your cap in the negotiating process, because you know that they are up against a wall.
Makes sense. Danny, what you got?
Nothing new. Basically everything that they said, ditto.
Come on, Danny. What do you like? Shove crayons down their throat, or come on?
Yeah, essentially, yeah. Just sit down, eat an MRE. No, I think listening with questions was the statement that I wrote down. And for the purpose of understanding, not necessarily just to listen to, because clients can tend to ramble on about something that is probably not even pertinent to what it is that's going on. But I think asking those open-ended questions that you mentioned, Chris, and just making sure that like it's for the purpose of understanding and letting them know that you are understanding their issue. One of the things, like one of the techniques that everyone utilizes is like when you're trying to remember someone's name, say it to them immediately after you hear the name, and say it to them a couple times after like you're first meeting them, so it can help you remember and register the name to the person, to the face, because we're better at recognizing faces than remembering names, because I'm terrible at remembering names. So I mean, repeating back what if there's an issue, like repeating, like I'm from what I'm hearing is that you can only afford something at $1,500, but you're looking at $1 million houses. That's what I'm hearing, right? So you have this is your budget, but this is your taste. These kinds of things that you want to make sure that you're listening to. And I think that one thing that's really helped me out was Chris Voss's book, Never Split the Difference. That one's a killer book on negotiation. And I think they're actually making a realtor version of it, or like he's making a realtor negotiation book.
Yeah.
So massive leg up on that.
Love it. There's another book that has a realtor version. So the original book is called Exactly What to Say, which is really good. And then they have Exactly What to Say for realtors. And it's super, super similar. I actually felt like I got scammed when I bought both. Because it's pretty much it's like almost identical. I'm like, damn it, they got another $9 out of me on that one. But it's really, seriously, it's so good. And you can mine that. Like I'm trying to kind of like work in some of those things piece by piece. Good stuff. But yeah, Never Split the Difference. I read that really early on. It's probably another one I need to revisit. It's good. My tip would be leverage alarming honesty. That has served me really, really well, because I feel that from a client perspective, the clients think that real estate negotiations are all about, well, I'm going to list at 550. I'll take 525. They're going to offer 5. So we're going to try to negotiate to the middle. They think that's how every negotiation works, because I don't know why. They saw like Wolf of Wall Street or something. And I don't know where they get like the concept, but so not only with clients, but with other agents, I've always just called the other agent and literally just said, hey, what is it? Here's my client. Here's their situation. What is it going to take? If I write offer X, here's the details. If I write that, are you accepting it today, or are you tossing it in the trash can? Which of those two things is what's going to happen? And just that super direct honesty about what we're going to do or what we're thinking, and asking them to make a choice about what their response is going to be. They're, even when they say like, well, just submit your best, I always will follow that up with, that's exactly why I called you, because that's exactly what I want to give you. So if that offer is going to get tossed in the trash can because it's not our best, tell me what our best needs to be. Well, you just got to submit and hope for the best. And I just tell them, I don't submit and hope for the best. I win offers. I get accepted offers, and I want to do that for you and your clients. So you tell me what it's got to be, like, just, I put it like in their hands. It's really like, I'm being super honest. I don't hide. I just don't waste time for the clients. We don't write offers like and just toss it into the wind and hope that somebody accepts it. I really just have an honest conversation without the haggling back and forth. Really, I don't ever find myself haggling. It's either like it works out and we offer and get it, or we know ahead of time, hey, this ain't happening, because they already told us that offer would get tossed in the garbage can.
And that's something I've never understood about realtors, when they're like, oh, just, submit your best. Well, what if my best is $1,000 less than what your client's bottom dollar is, and we're both going to miss out on a deal over $1,000 that my clients would probably not care about? Or, I understand the concept of, well, if you don't tell them, they might offer higher. Yeah, but they also might offer lower. So if you're just open and honest and direct and say, this is what it's going to take, then you're getting an offer that the buyer is comfortable with, that the seller wants, and everybody's meeting in the meeting where they need to meet to get the deal done. And I've always negotiated that way, just like you're saying, and it's always worked really, really well. Once you explain to people why you're doing it and get them on your side, it takes a minute sometimes.
Yeah, for sure. On the listing side, are you guys with me or against me? I always, on the listing side, I always get permission from my sellers to just have full disclosure with offers that we have on the table. It doesn't mean that I'm like publishing all the offers, like, and just saying, I'm going to send you them. But that way, when somebody does call me and say, hey, what's it going to take? I can say, hey, you're going to need to be at least, at this dollar point with this much of a guarantee and these terms, or you're not competitive. And I'll even, if they say, yeah, right, I already have permission to send them the best offer. I'll be like, here you go. Here's the offer in black and white. I have it. I'm not stringing you along. I'm not playing games. I'm telling you where you need to be. And a lot of buyers agents have appreciated that, because their clients are willing to be the best. And my clients win because the best offer we had just got beat because of the honesty. So are you with me or against me on that kind of disclosure?
I feel like I've been on both sides. I've said just go higher than 400 and we're good. But I've also been on the side where I've said that before and got burned. So like, if I say like, okay, this is what I'll take, and then the seller decides, actually, you know what? I think I'm going to take the other offer because they're veterans, or they're, conventional versus VA or whatever it is. And I'm like, like you just told me that you were gonna. So I've been burned. So I think just I can see why most agents are like highest and best, and that is it, because it leaves you in a neutral position, and like you're gonna get the deal anyway, right? Especially if you're on the listing side. So like, why give the cards per se, to when
I'm on the same line. Like I will honestly say, like, hey, give me your highest and best. But to be honest, our listing price is 450. You might want to be above 470. Like I'll go like that route, and I'll have them, talk to their client, like, hey, can we go above that specific mark, whatever that mark is, and they can have that discussion. I told them, hey, honestly, you might want to be under or above this number. It's kind of like, also it kind of gives them a little bit of like, oh, I have the scoop.
Yeah.
Like, oh, they have offers at 470. It's like, okay, like I have this to my clients, like, hey, I got a relationship with the agent, and he told me like we're at 470, and I think we should be at this point. And like I will give them that to kind of give them the ability to have that bragging point with their client as well. And I think that another part of negotiation is that a shift in the mindset is like, not everyone has to lose in a negotiation. Like it can also be a win-win scenario. It doesn't need to be a win-lose scenario. It sometimes is. Like I have a scenario right now where I'm on the listing side. I have the buyer's deposit, and my clients have the buyer's deposit because they've taken extra time to close on the deal. And it's like, hey, if you don't close in the next couple of days, unfortunately, we're going to have to take your deposit, and we're going to relist it, and I'm going to get the same price. And my clients are now up $30,000 because they have your deposit now. So it's like,
I texted to you.
It can be a win-win scenario. It should be a win-win scenario. And that should be the mindset, but not, it doesn't happen all the time.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
I'm on your team, Mike. And I just worked this out a couple of days ago where I got an offer. My highest and best is 525, whatever. And then got another offer. It was 550. It was a little bit more. The terms weren't as good as the 525. So I just called the other agent back and said, hey, look, I'd rather work with you. We've built a relationship. Here's what it's going to take. Your client needs to come up 25 grand. Oh, my clients, I don't think they're going to do that. Okay, well, we'll just, take the other offer then. But I wanted to give you the opportunity. 10 minutes later, I had a $25,000 increase in price. I had everything my client wanted as far as timelines and all that stuff got ironed out. Saved them a month on on having to carry the mortgage an extra month. And it was all because I was honest and just told them the truth about where their offer stood. And I firmly believe, and I've proven this to myself many, many times over, that you come out better if you disclose terms, because I've tried it both ways. I've tried playing it close to the vest, and it's been my experience that people are willing to go higher than they say they will to win. And if you tell them what it takes, they know in their mind what they've got to do.
Yeah. Especially in this market these days where, I mean, it's pretty, there's maybe some pockets around where over asking is not happening. But I mean, in my market, Metro Detroit right now, it's definitely, you got a good house, you're going to be over asking with an appraisal guarantee. That's the winning offer almost every time. If it's priced well, right? If it's improperly priced, then it's going to sit there. But yeah, which is the strategy I've been using with clients that don't have the leverage. But that's a different podcast topic, which we're not going to go into right now. Maybe next week we'll hit that. We'll talk about best buyer strategies in various markets or something. But those are our tips, hot takes. We didn't plan it. I like the unplanned pop-up quiz format so that you guys get our raw answers. So if you disagree or don't disagree, let us know in the comments what you think. We appreciate you guys. If this show adds value, hit the subscribe button, the notification bell, all the things, comment, engage, share it up. If you are on Apple Podcasts or Spotify, leave a rating and review. We appreciate it. You can go to tacticalagents.com at any point. Nothing to sell you. We have no products. We have everything free. So if you want to be a part of the community, worst, we are the worst business people ever. But maybe we can help you sell some real estate along the way, and everybody wins. And yeah, it'll be fun. All right, that's it. See you in episode 61.